Art competition together with the South African National Association for Visual Arts has been giving artists aged between 21 and 31 years an opportunity to study abroad. And now award winners for the past 3 decades are being celebrated in a new historic memoir titled Barclays L'Atelier, 30 Years of Introspection, that launched last month. To talk to us about this, we're joined in studio by art and museum curator of the SABC Gallery there in town, there, Dr. Paul Baylis, and art historian Nomusa Makubu, who is also a recipient of the SABC L'Atelier Award. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. I mean, Paul, this is long overdue, though. This is long overdue. Why was this the right time to release the book?
You're right. It's taken us, it's a milestone, but it's been 30 years in the making. And as we celebrated 30 years of the L'Atelier, we thought, as we look forward, it's also important that we look back and capture what the past 30 years has been about, and that's what the book is.
Yeah. Nomusa, let's bring you into this conversation. What did winning this award, though, open which doors for you?
Well, when I won it, it was in 2008, and I won it based on work that I did when I was still in my third year. And went to Paris the following year, but came back and did my master's. Then finished my doctorate, but also I think it just opened up a whole new sort of space for me to show and exhibit the work that was already existing. So, and I think the first time I went, it was the first time I traveled.
Yeah. Paul, what's in this book?
What we've captured there is 30 years, all the winners that have come through the L'Atelier, as well as the Gerald Sokoto winners, and it's really captured the original winning work, and then the story behind each artist to where they are now. Because most of the winners that have come through the competition were not as famous then or as well known as so we've tried to capture the journey that each of these artists have come on since winning. I think the important thing is that comes through the book as well is many of these artists, besides producing, we're now into a new generation because of the longevity of the competition. So they themselves, like Nomusa, are in universities, they lecturing to a whole new generation of artists and passing on what they've learned. And that really is what we've documented through the book. So as we look ahead, it is important, I think, to celebrate the richness of the arts that we have in this country.
Why was it important for you, Nomusa, to enter competition so that you get your work out there? You know, I mean, I remember speaking to one artist, and I see him, is there, Kai Loscott, that, you know, he had lost the competition so many times, another competition that is, only to win this one. You know, why is it important for an artist to enter competitions like these?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, I don't enter competitions anymore because I don't believe in competitive practice anymore. I think collaboration is a much better thing to engage in. But I think at that time, the SABC L'Atelier, there was also the... I forget this prize, and then there was Spear. These were the sort of main arenas in which you get to see what other artists outside of your province, outside of your sort of immediate context are doing. And this is where, you know, the sort of current contemporary issues were sort of being battled out, not battled out, battled is a terrible word, but you know, these were the spaces that sort of brought the contemporary discussions or created the contemporary discussions that were important. So I think, I mean, looking back, you know, competitions were extremely important to all of us. And even to be runner-up meant a lot. You know, it also sort of channeled you towards galleries, etc., and sort of established your network as an artist. So it's like if you don't exhibit, you're unknown. It was like if you're not in the competitions, you know, you're not really sort of forming part of that discourse. But of course, it's been a long way since
You've paid your dues. Paul, let's talk about the evolution of art since the competition started and the artists that have come through. I mean, I'm looking at the contrast between Penny's work and Bambo's work, for instance, you know, and how art is evolving over the years and how the SABC L'Atelier competition has managed to capture that. How has art evolved, in your opinion, since the days of, you know, the Pennies who won, to the Bambos who've also won, to the, you know, the Natalies, for instance?
I think if you look at it, technology has played an important role. So you also made mention of Kai, that was our 30th winner. Penny one with, if I can call it a more traditional work, a painting, where you had Kai doing the digital work.
Yes.
So technology has played a role through it. Over the years, we've had a number of printmakers, such as Bambo Sabia, that came through, Mongezi as well. So there is this constant evolution that is coming through the works in terms of what they use in terms of techniques and that. I think what is as important is the subject matter that is reflected through the work. So many times the artist as well is picking up and reflecting through the work what is happening in society and how they're seeing the world around them that comes through. And it's through this book, the 30 years, you get to pick that up. And I think it's very much getting to see the journey that we've come as a nation as well, that's reflected through the 30 years.
All right. Thank you so much. We have to cut this conversation short because we're talking about food now, from art to food. Sam is standing by there. But before we go to the food, which is going to make us overweight, we're going to take an ad break, but Dr. Paul Bale is talking to us about this it is such an interesting book, Barclays L'Atelier, 30 Years of Introspection. It's out now at good bookstores. Art historian Nomusa Makubu, she's a previous winner as well, so she's also on this elite list of artists. All right, let's take a quick ad break. We're back after this. Stay with us.